Good afternoon, everyone. In today's In the Meantime, I have titled this Off with Their Heads. Now, it seems like scarcely a week goes by without some statue being pulled down or by a mob or some building being renamed, as in the case of Laura Ingalls Wilder, or currency redesigned with a less morally fraught visage. The mob raises their fist in righteous indignation. Thomas Jefferson was a bad person. He owned slaves. Pull him down. Those who judge past actions by today's standards are practicing what historians call presentism, a term that was first used in the 1870s describing British Whig history, which used the past to justify less than noble behavior of the then present Whig Party. This issue has popped up for me in conversations with several people in the past few weeks, so I felt compelled to work on and develop my own thoughts on a complex subject. The presentists claim that it is right to judge the past by today's standards, and that those who say we should avoid this practice of judging the past based on the present would be guilty of moral relativism, saying that one set of morals was acceptable then, and today it is not acceptable. I find this critique a bit funny, because in terms of modern ideologies, we have the ironic situation where the presentists, who are mostly liberal, are accusing the conservative deontologist, rule-based morals, of being moral relativists, a charge that used to be hurled in the opposite direction. Oh well. After spending way too much time thinking and dreaming and pondering this problem, I have decided that the somewhat relativist position of many conservatives has merit. That if one was a slaveholder in 1750, when it was widely practiced and acceptable, at least for the white European population, then we cannot judge that person today for not being a moral crusader and very likely a martyr. Obviously, such relativism cannot be used to judge all historical actions. For example, the ethnic cleansing of 800,000 Tutsis by the Hutu tribe in Rwanda cannot be justified any more than Hitler can be justified. So relativism has its limits. But morals, ethics, and socially acceptable behavior change over time. Even the Bible traces a moral arc from tribal retribution, pre-Ten Commandments, to the ancient Jewish notion of an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, all the way to the teachings of Jesus to turn the other cheek. Most of us can look back in history at characters who had evil intentions and caused great harm. They are fair game for judgment and condemnation. But Jefferson, Washington, Robert E. Lee? If we condemn them by today's standards, then how do we think future generations will judge us? If we take a more forgiving, magnanimous approach, we just might try to accept our ancestors and historical figures for their beliefs and accomplishments, good and bad. They were only human, and they did the best they could within the confines of their social system. But that still leaves open for us the question of toppling statues. Okay, we can accept without condemnation these historical figures for the good and the bad they did. But morals and ethics change over time, hopefully for the better. And in the changing moral climate of today, what do those statues symbolize? Does a statue of Robert E. Lee inspire and uplift a Black American? I would say probably not. In our pluralistic democratic society, I suggest a single criterion might be applied to public displays of art and statuary. Here's my suggestion. Quote, does the work uplift and inspire all people? Secondly, does it represent the best values of our nation? And thirdly, does it convey a sense of goodness, decency, kindness, or hope? If a work can pass that test, I say, let it stand. otherwise. Tear it down. Because if we cannot stand together, we will surely fall apart.